Is reg, ja. Okay, dankie.
Raspeter Krauts.
Welkom raadslid.
Speaker Stillman is op.
Welkom raadsheer.
Dankie.
Councillors, it's 12 o'clock. Will you please mute all your devices? Welcome to today's special council meeting, which will be held virtually. Today is the 6th of June 2022. It's 12 o'clock. So we will commence immediately with the agenda as before us. Before I proceed with the agenda and deal with item number 1, let us close our eyes. Dear Lord, thank you for the privilege to start this meeting in your name. Thank you for the honor of knowing that you are present during this meeting. Help us, assist us, and be with us through the whole proceedings of today, and we thank you for that. Amen. Item number 1, application for leave of absence. Councillors, because it's a virtual meeting, you will have to bear with me. I will read out the names of all the councillors alphabetically, and in your own voice, you will have to reply whether you're present or not. So I will proceed to read out the names and wait for the reply. Please be as responsive and quick as possible. First, Councillor J.H. Adams. Councillor Adams. Councillor J.H. Adams.
Speaker, Councillor Adams is in.
Now, Councillor Adams needs to reply in her own voice. Councillor Adams, not present.
She is struggling to log in, Speaker.
Okay, we will proceed. Councillor M.M. Adriaanse.
Present.
Thank you. Councillor J.V. Anderson.
Present, Speaker.
Councillor M.A. Andreas.
Present, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor A.M.B. Apollos.
Present, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor E.G. Arendse.
Present, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor L.C. Arendse.
Present, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor R.B. Arnolds. Councillor R.B. Arnolds.
Speaker, Councillor
Yes.
Arnold het ook tegnische probleme. Sy het my laat weet.
Sweb, u moet asseblief voortgaan om hierdie mense aan boord te kry. Anders gaan ek hulle as afwesig merk. Councillor E. Baron.
Present, Speaker.
Councillor T.G. Bester.
Present, Speaker.
Councillor L.E. Bulani. Councillor L.E. Bulani.
Present, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor V.C. Boyson.
Present, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor G.C. Combrink.
Present, Speaker.
Thank you, Alderman. Councillor F.P. Kipidu. Councillor F.P. Kipidu. Councillor Kipidu.
Teenwoordig, Speaker.
Dankie. Councillor P.B.A. Kipidu.
Teenwoordig, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor L. Seister.
Present, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor J.V. Daniels.
Teenwoordig, Speaker.
Dankie. Councillor C.O. Davids.
Present Speaker.
Councillor Jade Kok.
Teenwoordig Speaker.
Dankie. Councillor A.J. du Plessis. Councillor A.J. du Plessis. Councillor A.J. du Plessis. Councillor B.P. Duba.
Corner Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor A. Fourie.
Voorzitter.
Dankie, raadslid. Councillor S. Ganandana. Councillor S. Ganandana.
Present Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor N. Godongwana.
Present Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor E. Gous.
Present Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor S. Gravel. Councillor S. Gravel. Councillor S. Gravel. Councillor B. Jacobs.
Present Speaker.
Councillor C.M. Jacobs.
Present Speaker.
Councillor F. Jacobs.
Teenwoordig Speaker.
Councillor M. Jacobs. Councillor M. Jacobs. Councillor M. Jacobs. Yeah.
M. Jacobs nog op ziek, Speaker.
So noted. Thank you, Councillor. Councillor C. Kearns.
Teenwoordig.
Councillor Alderman R.A. Kuchlenberg.
Present Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor C. Crouch.
Teenwoordig
Councillor-
Speaker.
Councillor G. Coulson. Councillor G. Coulson. Councillor G. Coulson. Councillor
Present
S.
Speaker.
Councillor S. Landsberg. Councillor S. Landsberg.
Present Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor L. Landu. Councillor L. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor S.J. Liebenberg, apology. Councillor T.C. Mangena. Councillor
Teenwoordig
T.C.
Speaker.
Baie dankie, raadslid. Councillor H.J.N. Matee.
In the chamber, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor L.C. Matee. Councillor L.C. Matee. Councillor L.C. Matee. Councillor J. Miller.
Present in council, Speaker.
Councillor T.P. Moy.
Present Speaker.
Councillor R.H. Nell. Councillor R.H. Nell. Councillor R.H. Nell. Councillor N. Nongogo. Thank you. Councillor M. Nubala. Councillor M.
Corner Speaker.
Thank you. Alderman C.J. Poole.
Yeah, boss, Speaker.
Thank you, Meyer. Councillor A.M. Richards.
Teenwoordig Speaker.
Councillor S. Ross.
Teenwoordig Speaker.
Councillor L.S. Sambokwe. Councillor L.S.
Corner speaker.
Thank you. Councillor N.D. Sauerman.
Present, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor J.A. September.
Teenwoordig, Speaker.
Councillor J. Smith.
Teenwoordig, Speaker.
Alderman R. Smuts. Alderman R. Smuts.
Teenwoordig, Speaker.
Dankie. Councillor E.A. Solomons.
Teenwoordig Speaker.
Dankie. Alderman A. Stouman.
Teenwoordig, Raadsheer.
Dankie, Raadsheer. Councillor A.M. Stolweni.
Present, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor L.T. van die Kerk.
Teenwoordig speaker.
Councillor R.H. van Nieuwenhuizen.
Teenwoordig, Speaker.
Councillor A. van Rooyen.
Teenwoordig Speaker.
Councillor A.J. van Santen.
Teenwoordig speaker.
Councillor B. van Wieling. Councillor B. van Wieling. Councillor B. van Wieling.
Teenwoordig Speaker.
Bietjie vinniger wees, raadslid. Councillor Z. Chego.
Corner Speaker.
Councillor N. Zoya. Councillor N. Zoya. Councillor N. Zoya. Councillors, I will just confirm. Councillor J.H. Adams not present.
Speaker, goeiemiddag. Ek is
Yes.
present Speaker.
Right, I will mark you off. Councillor R.B. Arnolds. Councillor R.B. Arnolds. Not present. Councillor A.J. Duplessis.
Teenwoordig, Speaker.
Councillor S. Gravel. Councillor S. Gravel. Not present. Councillor L.C. Mathieu. Councillor L.C. Mathieu. Not present. Councillor R.H. Nell. Councillor R.H. Nell. Not present.
Raadslid Nel is die, ek sal net gou gaan seker maak speaker, want hy het hier by my kantoor ingeloer.
Alright, maar hy moet, weet jy waar hy nou inloer die sweep, jy moet, weet jy waar jy hom gaan kry nie. Councillor N. Zoya. Councillor N. Zoya. Not present. Thank you, councillors. This then completes the application.
Inform council that we have a council that struggled with his health the past few days. I just want to inform them he's well recovered, not healed yet, but he's out of hospital.
You're breaking up, Mayor.
And it goes very well with him. Keep on praying for him, and we say thank you to God that Michael Jacobs is out of hospital. Just to be informed. Thank you, Speaker.
So his health improved. Thank you, Executive Mayor. Council has been informed. Any other announcements, Mayor?
None, Speaker.
Item number 5, approval of a 5-year contract for tender. MMC Lorraine Seister, you are welcome to proceed.
Thank you, Speaker. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, councillors. Speaker, after various questions
Your
in
sound quality,
sorry, Speaker.
your sound quality is not good, MMC. Check your sound quality.
Can you hear me now, Speaker?
Better, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Speaker. After various questions and uncertainties regarding this very important item, the city manager and the mayor decided to withdraw this item based on the shortcoming of critical information that was not part of the item. The following information was added: the cost-benefit analysis. The councils will find it on Annexure J, and also under solutions, the waste management plan for Drakenstein after 5 years. So it is recommended that 3.1, the contract for the provision of the waste disposal and waste diversion activities at the Wellington landfill site under tender solid waste management 01/2021 be approved, and 3.2, the city manager be authorized to sign the contract on behalf of the municipality. I so move, Speaker.
Thank you, MMC. This is then an amended item, so I need a seconder, please.
Second year, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Andreas. The item is then open for discussion. I have listed speakers. Councillor Richards. Councillor Richards. Are you there, Councillor? Councillor Lubala, listed speaker, please proceed. Councillor Nubala. Councillor Mangena, third listed speaker, please proceed.
Speaker.
Speaker.
Yes.
Speaker, it's Councillor
Yes.
Moti here.
Yes,
I
Councillor,
just
please
struggled to
proceed.
get the connection again, but I'm back.
Yes, you can proceed, Councillor.
Thank you, Speaker, for your patience. Speaker, the ANC's position on this item, as we have stated this in the council meeting, and as we indicated in the council meeting of last week, we do have a number of questions that we posed, and we want to pose those questions again today. And we understand and we acknowledge the fact that there was more information added to this item today by the city manager, which includes the cost-benefit analysis for the municipality. Speaker, I want to start off by raising the issue of the previous supplier, service provider, Verda, SA Waste Management Services. The question I want to ask first, Speaker, is why did they withdraw prematurely? Can somebody please explain to us why did they withdraw? What was the problems that they experienced as a service provider, which gave them, which allowed them to withdraw? It's not clear to us that why they withdrew. Then I want to ask, how long was the contract? When did that contract start? And when did they withdraw? And what the other question that I have, Speaker, is who managed the landfill site before Verda SA Waste Management was appointed? Then it's a concern for the ANC also that this document or this item in front of us in the municipality. Then the question I also want to raise, Speaker, is this contract, when it is when the new service provider is going to start, will they be charging fees to people, to the public, to the general public, that will be delivering or downloading the waste besides the municipality which is going to deliver the waste there. Are they going to charge fees to the public, and where is that money going to, and who's going to handle the money that will be charged to the if there's going to be any charges to the general public?
Yeah.
Then
Yes, I have the question.
Speaker, the other question that or concern that we have is that EnviroServe was evaluated by a senior and expert financial expert in the municipality in the report, which stated that they are a risk to the municipality, a financial risk to the municipality, and it was stressed that they are a financial risk to the municipality. This is based on the analysis that was made by this financial expert on their financial statements that they submitted to the municipality. But still, the municipality thought it good to appoint this service provider, while the service provider that came second was rated as financially sound with no risk to the municipality. And if you look at the difference between the tenders that was submitted, there's not even R1 million or maybe R1 million difference in the price that they submitted, although there were other factors that counted against them. But financially sound is one of the issues that was counting in their favor. So, and then also, Speaker, I need to say that the agenda, the tables that we were furnished with, some of the information was unclear, the headings in some of the tables, so I couldn't make out what those figures were and stats were that were listed in that table. So our concern is that EnviroServe has been singled out as being a high-risk service provider, but we still continue to provide this tender to them.
We have that question. I've listed that question.
The cost-benefit analysis, Speaker, that was provided to us also still leaves a lot of questions from our side. Is the fact that this landfill site has been managed by us for many years. Maybe somebody that's been there for 20 years in the municipality can tell us how many years have we been managing this landfill site, and to state that we now have to buy
that is your question.
all the
That is your
equipment
question number 3.
To manage the landfill site from scratch is something that we don't understand.
All right.
And if we look at the amount of money that is going to be spent, it's a lot of money, but I mean, if we can spend money on paying interest to the tune of 200 million rand every year, then surely we should have been able to afford to buy those equipment. And why didn't we budget for this equipment a long time ago? So, to conclude from my side, Speaker, is that the agency feels that the municipality, to a certain extent, has failed in this department by not equipping our staff with the necessary skills and experience, and we are shifting the blame now, or shifting our responsibilities to an outside service provider because we have failed in this department. So from the agency side, Chair, we are definitely not in support of this item because I think we have failed dismally and we need to pull up our socks in the future. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, Councillor Richards. You have now stated your party's view Does that mean I don't have to go to Councillor Nubala, Mangena, Sambokwe, and Moy, and Konangwana as listed speakers? You are the leader, so please advise me. Councillor Richards?
Speaker.
I'm speaking to Councillor Richards.
Speaker, sorry, man. Can you repeat that? Because I didn't have sound when you were speaking now.
All right. Councillor Richards, you have now stated your party's position. Does that mean I don't have to go to the other listed ANC councillors, being Nubala, Mangena, Sambokwe, Moy, and Konangwana?
No, Speaker, you must continue to, they will speak for themselves.
Okay, please advise them that if they repeat what you have said, I'm going to cut them short. Councillor Nubala.
Thanks, Speaker. Speaker, let me address your concerns because I will not be repeating what Councillor Richards have said.
Thank you, Councillor. Then proceed.
Can you repeat that, Speaker?
Please proceed, Councillor.
All right, thanks, Speaker. Speaker, I just want to speak on two items. If you go to page 124 of the council agenda, in that page you go to number 6 and number 7. What we want to understand, because in terms of the Department of Forest and Fisheries, there is a commitment made by us as a municipality on the issue of transformation to allocate 30% of the work to designated groups, and we believe those should be women, children, black and so forth. Now, we want to get an understanding in terms of this contract, because we have not picked that up. Is there an agreement that will be separately made between the municipality and that service provider, or is there a commitment made by the service provider, in this case the company, on that commitment of 30%? And the other one, the follow-on one, is the issue of the local labor, sourcing of local labor. We just want clarity on that. Then the last one, Speaker, from my side, if you go to page 126, in the second paragraph in that page, now there is concern raised by the National Treasurer on the draft contract that was sent to the National Treasurer. Firstly, in the first paragraph, have those concerns been rectified in terms of that contract? Because in terms of section 33 of the MFMA, the draft contract must be made public. Now, in terms of this, what the National Treasurer is saying, the contract submitted to the National Treasury was incomplete because there were certain sections which were not sent to them. That would also mean the assumption would be that even the draft contract circulated to the public was not a complete draft contract for them to make significant. Then the other one is the issue, the second paragraph. If we try to review the draft contract in terms of that second paragraph. And lastly, Speaker, the issue raised by one of the comments from one of these companies who have made comments, organizations, the response from us as the municipality was not responded to. The question that raised, and it's a serious concern, we can't just rub it off, where it seems to be making allegations that there are senior management in the municipalities or EDs, and they are listed there, who had a meeting, and they are alleging that that meeting had an influence on who and how much the tender should be. Now, we can't just brush that off as if there's nothing that has been made. Have we made any serious intervention in trying to investigate whether that is the case? If it's not true, we should put a bold statement that this is not true. We can't just ignore it. Thanks, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Dubala. Councillor Mangena.
Speaker, thank you very much. I think for now I'm covered about these questions. I'll just wait for the response from the portfolio council and then we'll take it from there. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Sambokwe.
Oh, it's me. Okay, Speaker. Can you hear me, Speaker?
Yes, you can. You
Speaker?
can proceed, Councillor. Councillor Sambokwe, you can proceed.
Speaker? Hello?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
Councillor.
Morning, Speaker. Afternoon. Speaker, mine will be one. I only want to speak about the issue of safety. The fact that the site is not being fenced, Speaker, it's a concern to me and to the ANC. I think that it's very wrong of the municipality of not fencing the site and taking into account that the site is open for anyone, any person to come in. I think that it is the responsibility of the municipality to make sure that the site it's fenced and it is safe. Now, what is going to happen in the tender document? It states that the company which is to be awarded the tender, it's going to look at the issue of safety. And I believe that there is the Boko security company that is also there, hired by the municipality for the issue of safety. But what I want to put in record is that, Speaker, the municipality must make sure that the site is fenced, it's closed, it's having a gate where everybody will enter. Not an open site where anyone from anywhere can get in whenever that person feels so. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Sambokwe. Councillor Moy. Councillor Moy.
Yes, Speaker. Can you hear me now? Speaker, can you hear me
Proceed.
now? Okay.
Yes.
Tell Speaker, I'll just wait for your response, Speaker, for so long. I'm still covered, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Gordon-Wana.
Thank you, Speaker. For now, I'm covered, Speaker. My question was with regards to the compaction equipment, which is the plant that was supposed to be bought by the municipality rather than to use EnviroServe as a service provider, and of which on the part of the tender document, in terms of the spec, what is expected on EnviroServe, the specification, the method statement, it's not included there as a requirement on the on EnviroServe, whereas we've got people who are gonna work around the site. But nevertheless, let's wait on the answers that will be given. Then we're gonna ask from there.
Yeah, Councillor, you had your opportunity to ask your questions now. Councillor Basil Jacobs.
Goeiedag, Speaker, kan je me horen?
Ja, ek hoor.
Goeiedag, Speaker, en al die ander councillors. Speaker, ek het deur die item gegaan en daar's goed wat vir my ewig concern. As die eerste ding is dat huidiglik doen die munisipaliteit die management van die site in-house. En ek dink hulle het 'n goeie job gedoen tot dusver. Die kwessie wat ek het is dat die expected 8 miljoen op die garage wat hulle uitgegee het op die tender, wat moet gegee word vir 'n diensverskaffer. Nou, dit is glad nie 'n goeie investment. Die tweede kwessie wat ek het is dat ek sien die kostes wat ons moet aangaan om die equipment vir onsself te koop, maar na 5 jaar is daai ons equipment as dit klaar betaal. Die ander kwessie is, dit beteken is 'n investment wat ons maak in 'n ding wat vir altyd daar gaan wees. Ons gaan altyd 'n waste management challenge hê, so dit beteken ons gaan bou as ons invest nou binne die equipment. Na 5 jaar met die nuwe kontrakteur wat die munisipaliteit beplan om aan te stel, as hy weg met sy geld en dan moet ons weer die proses oorbegin. So dit beteken ons moet weer 88 miljoen gaan uitgee vir 'n nuwe kontrakteur. So my kwessie is, hoekom ons invest ons nie binne ons eie mense nie? En op die tender dokument self, op die item wat voorgelê word, wys dit klaar blyklik dat daar 'n probleem is met skills in die municipality. Maar daar word nie geïnvest binne ons eie mense om hulle te upskill nie. En daai is 'n groot kwessie, want nou gaan ons weer 'n probleem wat die munisipaliteit sin is, afskryf na 'n kontrakteur toe. Hy gaan weg met sy 88 miljoen, daar word die skills gedevelop in die munisipaliteit self. So daar is die suksesse. So daai is die groot kwessies rondom dit. En dan die ander kwessie, en ek dink Councillor Samboko het dit mooi opgemerk in terms van die fence. So ek wag vir die respons daar rondom, laat 'n mens kan hoor wat die portfolio chairperson sê oor dit, dan vat ons dit daarvan aan. Maar CDR in principle kan nie agree dat hierdie tender voortgaan nie.
Dankie Raadslid Fourie.
Dankie Speaker.
Jy kan voortgaan, Raadslid.
Sorry, Speaker.
Raadslid Fourie. Identify yourself, Councillor.
Speaker, I hope you won't forget to translate. That's why I was raising a hand. Because I think it could assist us if we can speak in one language, as well as when it's a visual. You see?
Yeah, there's no translation available now, Councillor.
But that's where the problem starts, Speaker. Because now I'm showing
yes. You
You
have councillors in your caucus who can translate for
Oh,
you.
I Speaker.
Speaker, can you summarize what Comrade Basin have said? That's what we request.
All right. Councillor Jacobs referred to management in-house, that there was historically a good job. He wants to know about the cost of purchasing equipment vis-a-vis taking out the tender contract now. He says there should be a higher investment in personnel. Why is there a shortage of skills? It's not acceptable. And then he also seconded Councillor Zimbabwe's concern about the open site with no fence control, in his opinion. That is the summarized. Councillor Fourie, please proceed. Councillor Fourie. Councillor Landsberg, please proceed.
Excuse toch, meneer.
Raadslid Fourie. Councillor Fourie. Raadslid Landsberg, gaan voort asseblief.
Middag Speaker, van my kant af, daar's 'n paar probleme op wat ek graag net wil uitlig, dat ek net onder Drakenstein se aandag wil bring is, nêrens is daar genoem wat die werklike kostes is per dag of per maand en hoe dit daarbey uitgekom het nie. Dit was al vorige geleenthede, was al gevra vir die kostes, maar daar is nog nooit werklik die kostes vir ons deurgegee nie. Ek dink dit is moeilik om enige kostes op tafel te sit as jy nie die regte kostes het nie en 'n besluit daaroor te maak. Wat die pricing skedule van Environment beteken of sê in section B2 word genoem excluding cover materiaal. Wie gaan die cover materiaal verskaf? Gaan Drakenstein dit
Watter bladsy verwys jy na, Raadslid?
In die pricing skedule van Environment section B2.
Watter bladsy, nommer?
Ek het nog nie die bladsy nommer by my nie, Speaker, maar dit is by die pricing skedule.
Aanhangsel J.
B2.
Goed, ek hoop die portfoliohouders sal kan inkom hier. Please proceed, Councillor.
Daar word gesê excluding cover materiaal. Gaan Drakenstein dit verskaf en wat gaan die kostes wees om hierdie materiaal te verskaf? Want die terrein moet elke dag bedek word.
Oh, jy praat van capping.
Ja, die excluding
Capping
cover
agterna of okay, I get it. Dankie.
Okay, die terrein moet elke dag bedek word en dit is ons praat hier van groot geld betrokke en dit is nie deel van die kontrak nie. Gaan dit bygetel word by om die werklike prentjie te skep. As ek ook kyk na die tender, daar word niks gepraat van die compactor nie. Gaan die Envirosurf self die compactor verskaf of gaan Drakenstein Municipaliteit nog steeds die compactor inneem wat hulle huidiglik doen? Want dit is nie in die kontrak genoem of in die tenderproses genoem nie. En natuurlik, soos die ander raadslede ook gesê het, as jy jou eie toerusting koop, is dit 'n belegging. Op langtermyn raak dit goedkoper as jy dit onderhou en afbetaal en dit is jou eie eiendom. Dan wat ek ook net graag weet by die portefeulje is was daar enige mense wat geappeleer het teen die tender. Een van die ander tenderaars het een van hulle geappeleer. En wat vir my bekommerd maak is die tweede tenderaar is meneer Leon Grobler. Hy was 'n direkteur van Interwaste wat betrokke was ook by die waste to energy of die moontlike waste to energy van Drakenstein Municipaliteit. Dit laat nog ons op 'n rooi vlagte opgaan om nog 'n persoon wat by waste to energy betrokke was nou weer getender het om die landfill site te bestuur. Die ander probleem wat ek ook wil uitlig is dat die salarisrekening gaan nie verminder nie. Die salarisrekening gaan presies dieselfde bly. Maak nie saak in watter rigting Drakenstein gaan beweeg, die eerste, die tweede of die derde opsie vir die tenderaar. So die salarisse gaan presies dieselfde bly. En dit is 'n bekommernis vir my. So ek laat dit daar. Ek sal graag terugvoering wil hê van die voorsitter van die portefeulje komitee op my vraag.
Thank you, Councillor Landsberg. For those not able to follow in Afrikaans, Councillor Landsberg's concern was the cost per month. He said he doesn't know how it is calculated, what is the exact cost per month. Then he refers to Annex B2, and he wants to know whether the excluded covering material of a layer of waste, what is the cost thereof and who's going to pay for that. Then he also wants to know whether the compactor is included in the tender and whether the Drakenstein Municipality will proceed to lease the compactor to do the compacting job on the landfill site. Then he also refers to own equipment as an investment to purchase same. He wanted to know whether there's any appeals against the tender, and his concern was also that the second tenderer was Mr. Leon Grobler, who has an interwaste history regarding waste to energy at the landfill site. And they also wanted to know whether the existing salary of the Drakenstein Municipality for personnel at the landfill site will remain the same. That was his questions. Councillor Edgar Arendse.
Speaker.
Councillor Arendse.
Thank you, Speaker, for the opportunity. Yeah, we're almost covered in the whole thing, Speaker, but we have a concern about this big amount of 88 million, Speaker. And we as the good party feel that we can really provide jobs with that kind of money. And why don't we invest in our people in the residence? The thing is, Speaker, if we're gonna buy our own, invest in our own equipment, it would be good for us, like the phrase from in several previous speakers bring to your attention, Speaker. It's better for us to invest in our own thing than hiring other staff, Speaker. This is the main concern for us. And this tender is only for 5 years. What after the 5 years, Speaker? And why is the municipality only budgeting for equipment in the last financial year? That is for me a grave concern, Speaker. So if we can start now and buy our own thing, invest in our own equipment, in our own compactor, it will be good for Drakenstein. And there's so many capable people that can do the job. The staff that used to work for Alverda, that is there.
If we can contract that people for more, for 5 years more in the municipality and give them jobs, and there's the managers that can do the job, the oversight job and manage the site, it will be good because for the past 2 years, the municipality have do the job on their own without any contractor. So why not? So that is our concern as the good party speaker. So we can't support this item. Thank you, Speaker.
Yeah, thank you. I have that, Councillor. Councillor Fourie, I'm giving you another opportunity.
Dankie meneer die speaker. Ek moet vir u eerlikwaar sê dat hierdie afvalstortingssaga kom 'n lang pad van frustrasie en teleurstelling en dit is definitief nie 'n goeie getuigskrif vir ons City of Excellence nie. Wat vir my tragies is vandag meneer is dat ons hierdie tender sal ondersteun vir die eenvoudige rede dat ons nie vertroue het in die Drakenstein munisipaliteit om die proses te hanteer en te bestuur nie. Die dokument verklaar self meneer dat die stadsraad het nie die personeel, die vermoë en die kennis om dit te doen nie. En dit is duidelik dat daar oor 'n lang tyd 'n gebrek aan beplanning en bestuur bestaan. Eintlik nie 'n goeie rekord oor hierdie saak nie. Maar meneer, daar's heelwat vrae en bedenkinge in ons gemoed wat reeds al deur van die kollegas genoem is en van die raadslede. Die groot vraag wat ons het is waarom het die vorige tenderaar onttrek? Hoe verduidelik u die swak wetstoepassing wat daar was in die laaste klompie jare? Hoe het u die plek bestuur in die laaste 18 maande en teen welke koste? Die vraag is hoe moet ons die kostevergelyking evalueer? 152 miljoen en 164 miljoen respektiewelik gekwoteer deur die stad teenoor die tenderaar se 88 miljoen. Meneer, dit is 'n massiewe verskil. En die probleem is dat ons moet nou die bona fides aanvaar van die stadsraad. Of was die syfers gelaai om die tenderbedrag beter te laat lyk? Die tender self, meneer, beskik die tenderaar oor alle nodige masjinerie en ons wil net seker maak dat alles ingesluit is, meneer, ook die kompakteerders soos my kollega genoem het. Want dit word nie in die tender direk genoem nie. Die dekkingsmateriaal wil ek herhaal, meneer, want dit is groot koste en dit is uitgesluit. Watter ander belangrike komponente is uitgesluit wat bo en behalwe die 88 miljoen rand vir die belastingbetaler gaan kos? Dan die belangrikste, meneer, indien hierdie tenderaar sou onttrek, volg dit outomaties dat die tweede tenderaar sal oorneem of sal daar weer geadverteer word? Ons wil graag daardie versekering hê. Laastens, meneer, ons verstaan daar is 'n appel hangende. Indien wel, wat is die proses indien die appel sou slaag? Ons wil daai vrae uit ons gemoed uitkry, meneer, dat ons die tender kan ondersteun. As ons oor ons vrae en bedenkinge duidelikheid kry, dan sal ons stem ter ondersteuning.
Dankie, Raadslid Fourie. Raadslid, u moet onthou, ek is nie meneer nie, ek is speaker. So meld maar vir my op my titel. Dit is die algemene gedrag hier in Drakenstein. Die vertaling van wat u gevra het is die volgende. I'm going to do a short translation of Councillor Fourie's comments. Councillor Fourie refers to a long road of frustration with the landfill site and the way that Drakenstein municipality has been dealing with it. He says he doesn't have any confidence in Drakenstein because on our own admission there's a lack of planning and management. He wanted to know as a third question why the previous contractor withdrawn. He also wants to know how is the 152 million compiled as a very much larger amount than the 88 million of the tender that's been awarded or that is now up for approval. He wanted to know what is included in the tender as there's not enough information provided and that we refer to the exclusion of material for layer capping. What else could be excluded? He also wants to know what will happen if the existing or the recommended tender withdraws from the contract. And lastly, is there any appeal pending regarding the award? Those are the questions. I am not sure whether Councillor Kombrink or Councillor Seister wants to go first in reply. Kindly
Okay.
advise me. Yes, Councillor.
Okay, Speaker, I will go first, answer first.
All right.
Regarding okay. Councillor Moti wants to know what happened with Alveda. Okay, the previous contractor. So the previous service provider, his tender was extremely low and was running the service at a loss. The senior manager has experienced this, but this transfer based on a staff efficiency program, and Drakenstein Municipality has recently appointed the 2 managers in that section. The new service provider will charge service fees on behalf of Drakenstein Municipality. The new service provider fully complies with the BEE status, and they will provide jobs to local waste pickers that will do recycling and waste picking. Regarding the fence has been stolen. I think it's councillor. The councillors know who. I only make a notice the fencing regarding the fencing. The fence has been stolen at numerous times after the municipality has to replace sections of the stolen fence. We have successfully appointed a security company that safeguards the landfill site and has removed the illegal waste pickers from the site. The new appointed service provider will appoint their own security company to safeguard the landfill site. Regarding the own equipment, Speaker, the municipality should procure or buy its own equipment. The budgeted amount will be approximately 52 million for one financial year. That is part of option 1 on Annex J. Regarding is that the investment over the 5 years? Speaker, this is an investment over 5 years, and the municipality will run the service at double the cost, and stated in option 2 the amount of 165 million. Regarding the skills development, yes, it is important, and the municipality will transfer skills over a period of 3 years and will assess the status and performance of the service provider to determine whether the municipality should perform the service in-house after 5 years. Raadslid Landsberg. Wij gaan Afrikaans praat, Speaker. Raadslid Landsberg het gepraat van die kostes per dag en van die probleme en ook die uitgenoem van die pricing schedule en die excluding of cover material en die compact.
Please answer in English, Councillor. Please answer in English.
Ik ga het Afrikaans spreken, want hij het Afrikaans, zodat hij ook dat kan verstaan. So, Raadslid Landsberg, dit is 'n blakkante leen. Lees asseblief aanhangsel hier op bladsy 128 wat 'n volledige uitleg gee van die bedryfsuitgawes as
MMC. Speaker.
Yes,
Speaker, can MMC says the answer to the council, not to the one who raised the question?
Councillors, all questions to the speaker. You raise your hand and I will then address you. Councillor MMC Seister, please proceed in English.
Okay, Speaker. Councillor Landsberg, this is on the Annex J on page 128. There's a full. Sorry, Speaker. I did prepare me in Afrikaans, Speaker, and now because the councillor asked the question in Afrikaans, Speaker. So can I answer in Afrikaans, Speaker? Because I prepared me in Afrikaans.
In English, Councillor.
Speaker.
Speaker, Councillor, do it in Afrikaans. I will then do the translation.
Speaker.
Speaker.
Speaker Gerald Tiso, if I may.
No, just hold on, Mr. Iso. I'm waiting for the MMC to finish.
Can I go forward, Speaker?
Yes, please.
Okay, Speaker. Raadslid Landsberg, ek wil net vir hom antwoord. Die 88 miljoen sluit die volledige bestuur en die bedryf van die stortingsterrein in. Die vereiste van die diensverskaffer is dat hy die stortingsterrein daagliks moet toemaak en dit sal in die service level agreement vervat word. Die salarisrekening sal verdubbel indien die munisipaliteit dit moet bestuur. Omdat die personeel op opsie A aangestel moet word om die toerusting te bestuur. Die kwessie van meneer Leon Grobbelaar is ook nie te sprake nie, omdat sy maatskappy nie gelys was om die tender te bestuur nie. Gaan Speaker nou translate of kan ek maar verder aangaan?
Please proceed, Councillor.
Ook op die die huidige tender wat ook voor die raad bring. Die huidige tender wat ons ook voor die raad bring, ons van die kontrakbestuur huidig verskeie ander stortingsterrein sites suksesvol en beskik oor reeds afbetaalde toerusting en sal geen ekstra kostes vir die munisipaliteit se rekening wees nie. Speaker, as MMC kan ek die raad die versekering gee dat geen addisionele versteekte kostes in die cost-benefit analysis ingewerk is nie. Die cost-benefit analysis is gebaseer op werklike syfers wat die munisipaliteit gekos het, as ook die vooropgestelde bydrae wat verskaf was deur die diensverskaffer. Councillor Fourie het gevra van die appeal. Die appeal was waste carriers, maar hulle het nie voldoen aan die functionaliteit om die 70% te behaal nie. So, die appeal was hanteer, Speaker, en het was afgehandel. Wat Good se vraag betref, Councillor Edgar, Speaker, we note of all the points raised by the Good Party, but data reflects also on page 128 in the item. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, MMC. Just the short Afrikaans translation. According to the MMC, the service level agreement will provide more information and cover the outstanding information that's not covered in the item. There can be some questions on the service level agreement. The personnel as an expenditure will remain the same. There's no hidden cost and extra cost. And that she's of the opinion, and that is the item recommendation, that the equipment to be used by the successful tenderer will be paid off equipment. It's part of the tender and will not result in an extra cost for the municipality. There is no appeal pending, and there's no other additional cost not referred to in the item. That is the answer from the MMC. I am now handing over to Councillor Combrink for further answers.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm going to fill in. I'm not going to handle every question that was asked. Councillor Moti asked a question, or he made the statement that the headings were not very clear. I've just opened that page 128 on my computer and it's absolutely clear. So maybe he's got a printer problem. We should sort it out. If you print it, mine print excellent. So my printer is excellent at home. So I can't see the problem there. You asked the question, why didn't we budget for the equipment? Now, Speaker, a couple of other councillors also asked the same question. If you look on page 128, Speaker, then in column B is the estimated cost of the equipment should we buy it now. and that comes to 51.8 million. Speaker, add to that the operational cost, then you end up with 69.7 million for year one. But the equipment will last for, let's say, roughly 10 years, so over time it will become cheaper. But then, Speaker, if you look at in column C, D, E, and F, you look at just the operational cost alone, then you will see that that's every month more than the total cost of the successful tenderer, which is EnviroServe. The cost, I think it was Councillor Landsberg, that said that he doesn't know how to work it out. Councillor Landsberg, the far right column is the total for the 5-year period. Now, if you take that total for the 5-year period, divide that by 5, that's how you come to that price of 14 million for the tenderer. If you divide that 14 million by 12 months, then you get to the monthly cost, which is 1.20 million. If you go up 1 and we say we rent in all of those equipment, and we've got the operational cost hanging on to that, then our cost will be 2.49 million. And if you go to the top one, it's just not affordable to buy that equipment for ourselves and then add the operational cost to that. So that makes complete sense economically, rather to go with this contractor. Then if we go on, Councillor Nubala raised the question about the 30%, which must be BEE. Now, if you go to the documents of the tenderer, then you will see that he's a level 1 tenderer, and he also indicated that he's going to make use of subcontractors who are also level 1 BEE, so we are covered there. Then on page 126, Councillor Nubala referred to the draft contract and the references. That was part of the tender documents, and in the final document, it will be correct. Councillor Sambokwe, the site is not closed. I think my colleague covered that. Councillor Basil Jacobs also touched on the buying of equipment and skills, but that's also covered now. Back to Councillor Landsberg. The cover material, it's for all three, the costings, it's the same. So whether you add it to each and every one, it will not change the calculation because the cost is the same. Then the compactor, if you look at the page 128, right at the top of the tenderer item list is compactor 32 tons. And then Councillor Landsberg also referred to salaries that is high. Yes, that might be so, but you must also remember that local government has got a bargaining council, and it's not, we do not decide what the final increase per year is. If I then look at Councillor Arends, also what is about the 88 million, which can give a lot of people work, that might be so, but you need that service on the landfill site to compact. And if you read it through the documents, you will see what the lifespan of the landfill site can grow with if we do this. Investment in own equipment, I've touched on that. If I then go back to Councillor Fourie, yeah, it's a bit funny. We were hammered on Facebook regarding how bad we are managing our landfill site. And then at last week's council meeting, Councillor Landsberg verbally stated that we did a very good job. So now, I don't know who, somebody must make up his mind here. The outsourcing of the management of a landfill site is nothing new. Swartland is also outsourcing. I've just checked on them. My colleague covered that one, and the appeal was also handled. So, Speaker, I think I've covered everything. Speaker, I've covered everything.
Thank you, Alderman Combrink. Yeah, thank you, Deputy Mayor. I'm now going to ask Mr. Gerald Eso to come in here to provide the final information on any outstanding questions or to amplify on some of the answers that was provided. Mr. Eso, you're on.
Thank you, Speaker. Good afternoon, all councillors. Speaker, I think Deputy covered the gaps that was there for on our side from a technical perspective. So Deputy has covered those things. But maybe just for all councillors, the outsourcing of landfill sites has become a phenomenon in South Africa. We are not, I mean, if you have looked at carte blanche, that was one of the issues recently that was on the radar, that landfill sites, it's either we manage them jointly or should the municipality manage a landfill site. It is cheaper to outsource because in most cases, the service provider has all the resources and they then cover the cost. For the municipality to run a landfill site, your cost operating as well as capital is just astronomically. Now, in terms of the issue of skills transfers, our internal staff, you would see that we have at the present moment, we're having contract workers. That part also, should we continue to have that particular service managed by Drakenstein Municipality, we will have to appoint additional staff, which will increase your operating and running costs on landfill sites daily. Now, all of the elements that has been discussed by councillors is information that will be inserted into the contract, and that will be covered in terms of the contract. Today, we're just bringing this to the council's attention, where we would want council to approve the item in terms of the management of the landfill site for over the next 5 years. And it's clearly stipulated in Annex J on page 128 in terms of the operating cost and the finances that will be used during that particular 5 years. Then lastly, Speaker, from my side, after 3 years, we will assess the situation, whether it's still lucrative for the municipality to make use of a service provider or to assess the current status, whether we should either do it in-house, should it be deemed necessary in that regard, Speaker. So the service level agreement will cover all the concerns and it will address all the questions that was answered by the councillors today.
Yeah, you're breaking up, Mr. Eso.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Eso. I've had an indication that the Executive Mayor wants to take part in the debate. Executive Mayor, you on?
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I was partly covered by Eso, and I want to touch on his last comment. If you scroll to page 6, is exactly what Eso is saying at the bottom of the page, that after 3 years we will assess it, and he also mentioned that we will start.
You can proceed, Mayor.
Speaker, then on page 23 and 24, I want to speak about a comment mention of a financial risk for the municipality. No, the technical recommendation is yet that this responsive tenderer is capable and have the capacity to manage our landfill site. And the financial part of that recommendation is exactly the following. Contract management will be closely monitored to mitigate any possible financial risk to the municipality. So it means not that the tenderer is a financial risk, but he will be used to monitor the management of this. So in order for us to mitigate any financial risk towards us, and I just want to clear that. And then, of course, on page 124, yes, a councillor mentioned about the national letter and about the concerns raised in that letter. And I believe with our CM and his ED, that will be included within the agreement make with this tenderer. And then like I said, ISO has touched on it and so our constituency plan, because by all these concerns raised today, was concerns raised in front of me, my concerns, and I was posing it to the CM, I was posing it to Executive Director ISO, and yes, they have overturned my mind and say that it is at this moment for us a financial, how can we say, advancement for the municipality, or we can even save money for that matter when we get expert people to manage our landfill site in a lesser price. You can see with the column that set out the three options, you can see how many money we will save on a monthly basis. So yes, Speaker, I just want to mention that, and I want to comment on a comment made by one or other councillor and asking a question, why did Verda withdraw? It's within your right to withdraw if you know you are not in the right standing. Who are we to question anybody who are withdrawing? Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Executive Mayor. Let me see whether I have any outstanding hands. Councillor Gonogwana.
Thank you, Speaker. I think we as the council, we must summarize in a manner that there will be no adjusted cost when it comes to operations. Let us not finalize, because we are not part of that procurement department, in as much as the report will be not given to us of the adjustments, because when you look at when we request the method statement, how the work will be done, you will find there is much cost that will be affected, needs to be adjusted within the municipality, and of which, that's why I'm saying that it's not reasonable to opt the service provider than to buy the machine, the compaction equipment, than to take the contractor to do the work. Rather, we can just buy the equipment than to opt the service provider, of which there's no stable amount. There will be some costs that are being affected within the operation of the work. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Nubala. Limited.
Speaker, I think there was one question which was not responded to.
Which one?
The question around the allegation of the meeting that took place, that was raised by one of these three organizations.
Yes, Councillor.
That question was not responded to, and we feel that it must be responded to.
Noted.
Although that we feel that there is inadequate responses to some of the matters being raised here. Hence, even officials have to come into council meeting and respond to them.
All right, your comment is noted. Who will reply on the outstanding questions of Councillor Nubala?
Speaker, may I?
Yes, please proceed, Deputy Mayor.
Thank you. Sorry for missing that one, Speaker. I did pick it up about a couple of weeks ago, and we asked questions about it, and we got the information that the statement is not true. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Okay, now we had the opportunity to debate this matter. I am now going to give or bring this matter to a close. Is this then the official?
Speaker, my hand is open, Speaker. By John de Kok, Councillor de Kok.
Raad, jy was nie gelys as 'n spreker nie.
Het is Councillor Basil Jacobs. Ik was geluisterd als spreker en ik heb nog een vraag wat ik wil vragen, maar nou was een respons op dat wat ik vraag. Kan ik praten, Speaker?
Alright, Raad de Kok is nie gelys as 'n spreker nie. So is dit 'n opvolgvraag en dan 'n finale vraag, Raad Jacobs?
Is 'n opvolgvraag, Speaker.
Right, want ons moet klaarmaak op hierdie debat. Gaan voort met die vraag.
Ik verstaan volkomen, Speaker, en baie dankie vir almal wat comments en terugvoering gegee het op die vraag wat gevra het, maar die kwessie is en ek dink u sou het gemention dat na 3 jaar gaan daar weer geassess word of die appointed contractor nog deliver. Wat gebeur as hy nie gedeliver het nie? Dan beteken dit ons is weer in 'n poepstorm waar ons vandag bevind. Ons het nie equipment nie. Ons het meer as 42 miljoen rand gewaste. So die issues op die tafel is in terms van hoekom ons in ons eie goed invest en ons eie mense invest nie. Ek dink nie daai is goed genoeg deurdink en deur discussie. So ons kan regtig hierdie ding.
Alright, ons het die mening Raadslid. For those who didn't follow in Afrikaans, the Councillor Jacobs is still concerned about what is really going to happen after the 3 years period. What he doesn't seem to understand or what he's struggling to understand with is that there is going to be a cost in any event, whether it's a tenderer or whether it's the municipality doing the work at the landfill site. It's going to come at a cost. So and his concern is what is going to happen after 3 years if the municipality is not satisfied with the approved or suggested or tenderer, and then whether we will not be in a position to have to only appoint another tenderer again, or whether there will be any advancement in their own skills. So that is the concern. Councillors, I am going to close the debate now on this matter, and we're now going to the vote. And Speaker, I will read out the names again.
Speaker.
Yes, Deputy. No, it's Meyer. Executive Meyer, yes.
Speaker, we cannot answer Councillor Jacobs' question, and I think if you look under solutions on page 6, you will see in the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 the following strategies will be implemented to monitor the contract effectively. You will see Romans 1, monthly contract meeting will be conducted to and ISO will make sure that we can assess the progress of this contract along the way as we go on. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Executive Mayor. We're now going to the vote in this item. Councillors, I will read out the names and then I will indicate on my control attendance register list, which is divided into 3 columns: in favor, against, or abstentions, and I will then mark you accordingly. Councillor Adams, in favor, against, or abstaining? Councillor Adams, marked as abstaining. Councillor Adriaanse, Adriaanse.
In favor, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Anderson.
In favor, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Andreas.
In favor, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Apollos. Councillor Apollos.
In favor, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor E.G. Arendse.
Against, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor L.C. Arendse.
In favor, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor R.B. Arnolds.
In favor, Speaker.
Councillor E. Baron.
In favor, Speaker.
Councillor T. Bester.
In favor, Speaker.
Councillor L.E. Bolani. Councillor L.E. Bolani. Marked as abstaining. Councillor V.C. Boyson.
In favor, Speaker.
Alderman Kombrink.
In favor, Speaker.
Councillor F. Kippedu.
In favor, Speaker.
Councillor P. Kippedu.
In favor, Speaker.
Councillor L. Seister.
In favor, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor J.B. Daniels.
Speaker.
Pardon, Councillor Daniel, say again.
Against Speaker.
Councillor C.O. Davids,
Against Speaker.
Councillor Jada Cook.
Speaker. Against
Say it.
Speaker.
Against.
Staan er teen.
Thank you. Councillor A.J. Duplessis.
In favor, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor B.B. Duval.
Against Speaker.
Councillor Fourie.
In gunste, meneer die speaker.
Dankie, raadslid. Councillor Ganandana.
Against, Speaker.
Councillor Gordon Wana.
Against Speaker.
Councillor Gous.
In favor, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor Gravel. Councillor Gravel. Marked as abstaining. If he is present, I will check. Councillor B. Jacobs.
Staande teen, Speaker.
Councillor C.M. Jacobs.
In favor, Speaker.
Councillor F. Jacobs.
In favor, Speaker.
Councillor M. Jacobs is not present. Councillor C. Kearns.
In favor. In
Thank
favor.
you, Chief Clerk. Alderman Combram. Alderman Zuckerberg.
My vote is in favor, Speaker.
Now you're breaking up, Alderman. Say again.
I say my vote is in favor, Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor C. Crouch.
Felix, mute you.
Councillor C. Crouch.
In favor, Speaker.
Councillor G. Coulson.
Speaker.
Councillor Coulson.
Not in favor, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor S. Landsberg.
Ten gunste, Speaker.
Dankie, raadslid. Councillor L. Landu.
In favor, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Liebenberg is not here. Councillor T.C. Mangena. Councillor Mangena.
Against.
Thank you. Councillor H.J. Mati.
In favor, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Mati. Councillor L.C. Mati. Councillor L.C. Mati. Councillor Mati. Councillor Mati, there's big sound, noise disturbance at your side. I mark you as abstaining. Councillor J. Muller. Councillor J. Muller. Not present. Councillor T.P. Moy.
Speaker.
Against.
Against.
Councillor R.H. Nell.
In favor, Speaker.
Councillor Muller is present. Problems. Councillor Nongogo. Councillor Nongogo. Marked as abstaining. If she's, what does yes mean? What does yes mean? Councillor Nongogo, in favor, against, or abstaining?
Against Speaker.
Now, Councillor, there's too much noise disturbance at your side. What is your vote?
Against Speaker.
Against. Eventually, Councillor. Councillor Dubala?
Against, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor. Alderman Poole?
Yes, Speaker.
Here. Thank you, Mayor. Councillor Richards?
Again, Speaker.
Councillor S. Ross?
Against Speaker.
Councillor Zampokwe? Councillor Sambokwe. Mark is abstaining. Councillor Sauerman.
Against, Speaker.
No, but you have to be quicker,
Against.
Councillor. What is your vote, Councillor Sambokwe?
Against, Speaker.
Eventually. Councillor Sauerman.
In favor, Speaker.
Councillor September. Councillor September.
In favor, Speaker.
Dankie, raadslid. Councillor J. Smith.
In favor, Speaker.
Thank you. Alderman R. Smuts.
In favor, Speaker.
Dankie, raadsheer. Councillor E.A. Solomons.
In favor, Speaker.
Thank you. Alderman A. Stoneman.
In favor, Alderman.
Thank you. Councillor A.M. Stulweni. Councillor Stulweni. Councillor Stulweni. Marcus abstain. Yes?
I said against, Speaker.
Against Councillor Stulweni.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Councillor L.T. van Niekerk.
Ten gunste, Speaker.
Dankie. Councillor van Nieuwenhuizen.
In favor, Speaker.
Thank you. Councillor A. van Rooyen.
In favor, Speaker.
So recorded. Councillor AJ van Santen.
Ten gunste van, Speaker.
Dankie, raadslid. Councillor B. van Wieling. Councillor Brenda van Wieling. Councillor van Wieling. Mark is abstaining. Councillor Z. Chegu. Councillor Chegu. Mark is abstaining. Impression.
Against the Speaker, against the Speaker.
Against.
Speaker, against,
Yes.
yes.
Councillor Chegu speaking. Councillor. Mark is abstaining. Councillor Nzoya. Councillor Nzoya. Mark is abstaining. If not, receive proof of attendance. I will quickly count the voting.
Speaker. Speaker. Councillor Miller from Councillor Combrung's laptop.
Voting is done, Speaker.
Hy hoor hier ook nou nie. Miskien is dit my stem.
Raadslid Miller, wil jy nou jou stem uitbring?
Voting is done, Speaker.
Speaker, ek is hier by Raadslid Kombrung se laptop. Ek is in
Voting is done, Speaker. You are counting. We are waiting for results.
Ja, goed, raadslid, jy sal so aangeteken word.
Dankie.
Ja, Speaker, terwyl ons wag vir die resultate.
The voting is done.
Raadslid, jy het nie 'n stem, jy het nie
The
nou.
voting is done.
Jy kan nie nou praat nie, raadslid. Die uitslag van die stemming is 7 raadslede, 7 councillors abstaining, 7 raadslede wat nie gestem het nie. Dit sluit in die wat afwesig is en nie op rekord is nie. Against the recommendation 16 and the motion carries with in favor total count of 38. Thank you, councillors. This brings to the end of today's virtual meeting. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you for your attendance.
Thank you, Speaker.
Dankie, Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker.